Well, good evening, everyone. It really feels like fall out there today. My name is Ann Eubank, and I have the privilege of serving as the department head for the Department of Education. And I'd like to welcome you all to this event. This is our semi-annual new teacher induction, teacher education program induction ceremony and student teacher send-off. And so before we begin our program today, I'd like to acknowledge the hardworking folks that really helped us to prepare this event for you. And so we have Becky and Beverly over here, our Dean's Office staff who have just been fantastic supporters of this event. Thank you for setting everything up. And then if you are a faculty member, could you stand up? All right. Yeah. For you new folks, these are the people that are going to just really help you and support you through your program. And for the folks who are going out for student teaching, these are the people that I hope you will draw on their wisdom and their inspiration as you learned in their classes. Okay. So I'd also like to acknowledge our dean, Allison Harmon. So Dr. Harmon's here. Thank you for coming. And then our assistant dean, Dr. Joe Hicks. Many of you know Joe. He gets a big shout out. Okay. And then you'll be hearing from our field placement and licensure staff later on, but we have John Mielik and Lisa Yarnell and Ginny Moore. Okay, great. So that's the introductory content that I'd like to share, and we have a really special treat for you today. We have our speaker is Chris Pavlovich, and pardon me while I multitask, talk, and turn this on at the same time. Chris is a teacher at East Side Elementary School in Livingston, and she is a fifth grade teacher, a very decorated teacher. She is a 2022 Montana Teacher of the Year finalist. So that's out of, I don't even know how many thousands of teachers in Montana. She was one of 4 finalists for the state's top honor. Chris also was awarded the Indian Education for All Teacher Award this past academic year, and then she's also been awarded as an exemplary science instructor at the elementary level. So we've asked Chris to share just a few words of wisdom, and she's coming to us live from, looks like your classroom at Eastside Elementary. All right, Chris, take it away. Can she not hear us? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Chris, can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm talking into the microphone, and I'm talking into the microphone, and you can't hear me. But they can hear you. So I just introduced you, and please share your words of wisdom with the group.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'd say it's good to see you, but I don't know who's out there. So this is a little bit like teaching because you're kind of flying blind a little bit. I want to thank you for going into this profession that means so much to us who are doing it, and I'm sure it will mean the same to you. I truly believe that teachers are in the top tier of professionals in the world, with doctors, attorneys, the whole gamut. I mean, we reflect and refine on a daily basis, and teaching is a practice, just like a medical practice or a law practice. And so you're headed into one of the most esteemed careers that you could have, rewarding and both professional. There have been a few things that I've been reminded of in the last couple of years through the COVID crisis, and the World Health Organization deemed it an infodemic, saying that there was too much information out there, both reliable and unreliable, that was too much for people to sort through. And I think as teachers, we feel that kind of often, and it's really important to kind of find your center and what grounds you. And for me, the two most important things are content and people, right? And so if I can connect to my content in a way that's meaningful for me and develop meaningful relationships with students and parents, I know that everything else will fall away and will kind of come to fruition. And so those are kind of the two grounding threads for me as a teacher. As a teacher, I'm a bridge to my community, as you will be. You'll be a pillar of that community. A lot of times school and the real world are considered separate. So I encourage you to find a way to build context for every single thing you're doing for the students so that they can see how those two things connect and understand that you're bridging their families to the school and students to content. When we do that, we kind of build a story work, so what we do in our classrooms is a narrative, regardless if it's intentional or unintentional. And so build your intention, think about your delivery, tone, scope, sequence, what materials you're going to include and why, and the vocabulary that you use. So every experience in that classroom is a story toward a narrative of a larger story work throughout the year. And so I always think about it like that as well. The most practical advice that I have is to start building relationships with parents early. Something that I started doing at the very beginning was keeping a checklist of every student, and within the first 3 weeks of school, making sure that I had, emails or a text or a phone call that went home to every student talking about what I enjoyed about them, what their strengths were. And this is really going to help build that bridge that I was talking about. And if you find any bumps along the road later, you're really putting some deposits in the bank for getting through some of the harder stuff that might come up in the later part of the year. The other thing about teaching that I think is important to remember is that it's a professional endeavor that requires a lot of our humanity. And of all the struggles that can be teaching, because there are so many wonderful things about it, those are the things that sometimes weigh on us. And you are constantly readjusting and tuning the dials of personal and professional for every audience, every student or parent relationship, every context, and that's something that takes time and that is not necessarily talked about a lot. And so definitely thinking about that and giving yourself some grace. I read just this past week that teachers make 1,500 decisions throughout the day on average. Sometimes it's more. Those of you who are going into elementary, it's probably going to be a little bit more because of your close personal relationships with those students and families. And so just don't focus on those decisions that, those ones that you could have done differently. That's going to happen every day. Think about it, reflect, refine, take that professional moment, but tune that dial away from your humanity and your personal part, and know that 1,500 decisions and a lot is a lot. It's a really a lot. I've had 1,500 decisions today, so my voice isn't quite working. And you are my 5th parent-teacher conference tonight. I'm getting ready to move into another one. What else was I going to say? I think mostly just tuning those dials of personal and professional, building relationships, that's big. And part of tuning those dials is understanding that you will never walk out of the classroom with everything done. It's not going to happen. There's a pile of things to do, and there will always be a pile of things to do. You are most useful to your students and your profession when you take care of yourself. And so set those boundaries for yourself and what's going to be healthy for you, so that you're not only balancing the professional and the personal when you are in the classroom, but in your own life as well. You are heading into an exciting journey. There's no finish line for this work. That's what it is to be a professional, reflecting and refining at all times, top tier. And I applaud you for going in and committing to one of the most prestigious, meaningful things that you can do. Thank you.
You got a huge round of applause. So, Chris, thank you so much for giving us some words of wisdom and encouragement, and we'll let you get back to your parent-teacher conferences. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Well, I hope you found those words of wisdom and encouragement inspirational. You'll hear more about Chris Pavlovich as you continue on in your career, especially if you're here in Montana. And she knows an astronaut personally, just so you know. It's kind of cool. I feel like I'm 1 degree away from an astronaut. So, I forgot to acknowledge a really, really important group of people that are here tonight, and those are your family, your friends, your partners, and your supporters. So if you are one of those people, can you please stand up and be acknowledged? Stand up, stand up. Your accomplishments in this program are your own, but we all know the amount of support it takes to have those accomplishments. And so thank you to all of you who are supporting these students along their journey. So at this time, we would like to recognize our students who are coming into the teacher education program. And so this is an induction ceremony. And, I'm thinking about what Chris just shared about this profession being very prestigious and this profession being really, really important to the fabric of society. And for those of you who are just starting your teacher education program, I'd like to encourage you to reflect on that. Because you hear a lot of stuff in the news. You hear negative stuff about teachers. You hear all of this stuff about schools. And, there's a lot of noise out there. But when it comes down to it, it's really about those kids that are in your classroom. So, welcome to this profession. You are entering something that you're going to touch thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, and you're probably not even going to know what happened. It's just wonderful that you've made the commitment to join this profession, because we need really good teachers, and more importantly, we need teachers who care about their kids and their students and who they work with. The other just little thing that I'd like to share is that your classroom is not just the only part of this profession. And so, like I said, there's a lot of noise. You hear a lot of things in the news. There's laws and regulations and this and that. And so all of that stuff that happens maybe in the political sphere does impact you and your ability to do your job effectively. And so what I'd like to also do, and this is for both our students who are coming into the program and also our students whom we're sending off for student teaching in the spring, is to pay attention to that policy stuff. Pay attention to what the school board is saying. Pay attention to the state legislature. Pay attention to what our federal elected officials are saying and our policymakers are saying, because you do have a voice and you are the expert. And so that's my call to action for you, is to really invest in this profession by paying attention and participating in civic action when you feel it's important. Okay, so that's my spiel. And so at this time, I would like to invite all induction folks, our new students, to come down, and we're going to have you come this way, and then Ginny you're going to give your card to Ginny, and then I will read your name, and we'll applaud for you, and then you'll just move right on over and pick up your name tag.
I would also like to get a photo of you with the department head.
Okay. I don't know if we can do that socially distanced, but yeah, if you could just maybe socially distance and stand in this corner and not go back up to the stands, we'll see what we can do. Okay, sounds good. All right, so any students who are entering our program, come on down. Wow. And we're going to have you just pick up your own name tag off the table. And, if in the unlikely event that your name tag is not there, just at the end of the event, just let one of us know, just in case. Okay, here we go. Okay, Darby May, congratulations. Okay. Allison Sauer. Molly Christians. Ella McKillop. Just need a little sip. Okay. Marie Corvo. Madeline Michels? Madeline, yay. Okay. Rebecca Pylon? Okay. Okay. Logan Peck. Eric Carlson. Kayla Hay. Okay. Hannah Rentz. Congratulations. Bailey Blake. Okay. Macy Moore. Okay. Brianna Smith. Mariah Loom. Close. Yeah. Dylan DeLay. Congratulations. Elizabeth Hoiker. Thank you. That's okay. Jessa Stevens. Congratulations. Quinn Corbin. Camille Sampley. Okay. And Shelby Keekover. Congratulations to all of you. Okay. You're officially inducted now. How do you feel? All right. I can just maybe crouch down. Okay.
So I'm on this half, okay. Now, if you move to the other table. There we go. Wow. Perfect, thank you. You two that are chatting, I think you're still in the photo. There you go.
All right, congratulations, all of you. Okay. All right. So at this time, I'd like to welcome somebody that I'm sure all of our student teachers know very well. And for those of you who are just starting the teacher education program, you're also going to get to know this gentleman really well. So I'd like to introduce Dr. John Mielek, MED. He is the Director of Field Placement and Licensure.
Funny thing about working in higher ed is everybody assumes you're a doctor. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I've heard rumors that after 150 people call you doctor, you just get it. So I think that was 148. I'm so close. We're really glad to have all of you here tonight. This event is something that we really look forward to each semester. And as you may imagine, for the past couple of semesters, we've been doing this online. And it's so great to have everybody here, have you in person, and we just value the time that you came and spent with us, and hope you find some value in spending time with each other. So, student teachers, we give you a little bit of a heads up in our interviews what we're going to ask you to do tonight. We're going to ask you to come up to the front, kind of line up similar to how the incoming students lined up, but I think we might do it in front of the table so that this lovely stand with Dr. Lux on the bottom doesn't get in our way. If you see Dr. Lux, you might ask him why he wasn't socially distanced from those kids in that picture. That guy doesn't follow any rules. You'll be asked to give your best piece of advice to all these new students. What do you wish you would have known when you were in their position? What rumors to not listen to, tips for success, all of those kinds of little things that you just wish maybe someone would have told you 2 years ago as you were sitting in those seats on the other side. When you're all done, I will give you my top secrets of success for student teaching. And I just put them on a little note here. I cheated. I know many of you are thinking right now, what am I going to say? So I'm not going to tell you if I'm going to start at this end or if I'm going to start at that end. So there is no safe spot. Why don't our student teachers come on down, and when I give you the microphone, I'll have you introduce yourself, say your licensure area, and your piece of advice. All right, Joe. Left or right? Left or right?
Right.
Our right or their right?
Circle there.
All right, scoot down that way, Aja. All right, for those of you that clapped really, really loud for Dr. Hicks when he was introduced, I just want you to know he picked the starting rotation for tonight. So, the lucky first person is Mason.
Hello, my name is Mason DeVries. I'm double majoring in secondary science education and chemistry teaching. And I think the biggest piece of advice I have to offer is to find the reason that motivates you to teach and just kind of shape everything around that. You know, there's not one right way to teach as you're starting to go through your classes. You'll see plenty of different ways to teach, but you need to find the one that's right for you, and that's what I advise you to stay with.
Awesome. My name is Abby Dunn, and I'm a double major in agriculture education and elementary education. And I think I don't have as profound advice as Mason does, but I would say just take a deep breath. No matter what John tells you in the office, they'll help you graduate. Everything is going to work out. It's going to be fine.
My name is Sarah Lynn Stanley. I'm an agricultural education major as well. I would say my advice is don't be afraid to take advantage of opportunities that are given to you, even if they're not mandatory. I think some of my most valuable learning has come from professional development, where I can just sit down and talk to people that have actually been in the field and been out there teaching. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities.
My name's Katie Williams. I'm an elementary education major, and I guess I would say just to take in all of your classes, make the most of them, put in the extra work, and really try to take in each part of your class.
Hello, I'm Haley Milton. I'm an elementary education major, and my advice is give it your 100%, and if you're not feeling it, keep giving it your 100%.
Hi, I'm Jake Skundrich. I'm a technical education major, and make sure to pay attention when you learn about lesson plans.
Well, my card here says that I'm Devin McClelland, and I'm an ag ed major, and I think the best advice is get to know your professors because they'll help you a lot in your profession.
Sweet. My name is Sam Riebling, and I'm a technology education major. Similar to Devin, I'd say just recognize how much support is standing behind you, your professors, and everyone wants to see you succeed. So they're all for you.
I'm Michael Hopfoff. I'm an elementary ed major, and my biggest piece of advice would be to get involved in the community and build up as much experience as you can working with children.
My name's Gracie Campbell. I'm an elementary ed major, and my best piece of advice is not every experience is going to be one you want to tell people about, but learning what not to do is just as important as learning what to do.
My name is Jennifer Johnson. I am art education, K through 12, and my biggest piece of advice is don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand or you're not sure the method that your teacher is using. Ask, because they are a wealth of knowledge.
My name's Tyler Noyes. I'm an agricultural education major. My biggest piece of advice, make friends and connections with your fellow cohort of teachers, because believe it or not, you will use them, and unfortunately, they will probably become your best friends.
Hello, I'm Kelsey Kraft. I'm a double major in agriculture education and elementary education. My biggest piece of advice is get yourself a notebook right when you start working with children and write down all those memories, that the little comments they make, the stories that they tell you that are so fun to remember that you don't want to forget because they just make you laugh. Take that running record so you can look back on it after 20 years of teaching. So that's my biggest advice.
My name is Kelly Hall. I'm a secondary math education major, and I think my biggest piece of advice would be to make sure you learn from your mistakes. No one expects you to go into this profession knowing everything, even though you're the educator. You can still be a student and learn things just as much being the teacher.
My name is Nathan Vinger. I am also a secondary mathematical education major, and for you guys, I would say, when I started this whole going out in the field and teaching, basically someone asked me, how did you do and what can you give me? I said, basically what I told them was, use the knowledge you were taught, all the experience that you've been given by your teachers, use that, go out in the field, and you'll be just fine. Thank you.
I'm Julia Grubb. I'm majoring in secondary education for social studies Broadfield, And my piece of advice is just to get to know people. That's why we're all doing this. So know your advisors, know your teachers, know the students that you want to work with and that you get to work with, because it's a pleasure and a joy.
I'm Austin Ransom. I'm a secondary English ed major, and my advice is take the fun classes. All of your required courses are important, but like Dr. Olson up there, I took his Arts and Lifelong Learning class, and even as an English major, it really showed me some fun things that I could do with my future classroom.
Hi, my name's Megan. I'm secondary ed science Broadfield, and my advice is to time manage. Work on your time management. It's a huge skill that you'll need in college, not just in the education department, but throughout your whole life.
Hi, I'm Haley Bruce, and I'm secondary English ed. And my biggest piece of advice is be patient and stay excited. There's going to be numerous times throughout the rest of the program that you kind of hit a wall, and you might question why you're doing this, but do the research, stay excited. There's a lot of change to come, and it's all really good, so stay excited.
I'm Andromeda Abar, and I'm secondary English education. My advice is to read your Monday minutes, stay on top of those deadlines, and communicate with everyone.
My name is Savannah Willard, and I am a K-8 elementary education major with a minor in Hispanic Studies. And I have two pieces of advice, one for college and one for in your classrooms. So in college, take the classes that you want to take. This is my 5th year in a 4-year degree, and I have just done what I wanted to and taken the classes I wanted to, and it's been very beneficial for myself, and I think for the people around me too, like especially my students. It's been really helpful for them. For in class, make sure you create those relationships with your kids right away. Like, get to know them, get to know what they like, what they don't like, how they learn, because if they don't like you, they're not going to learn from you.
My name is Sean Culliva. I am an elementary education major, and my biggest piece of advice would be to use your advisors to your advantage. They're here to help you, and they will do everything that they can to point you in the right direction.
Hi, I'm Brittany Hall. I'm an elementary ed major as well. And my best advice is to make mistakes in front of your students. It's the only way they're going to see you as human and understand that mistakes are okay.
Hi, I'm Ashley Senior. I'm an elementary education major, and my best advice is to be open-minded. You might be going into the classroom thinking, I want to teach kindergarten. It might turn out you might be an 8th grade teacher, so be open-minded about your placements.
My name is Samantha Shamblin. I'm also an elementary ed, and my biggest piece of advice I definitely did not come up with. One of my professors said, and it was never lose the feeling of what it feels like to learn, because that's how you're going to build relationships with your students.
I'm Caitlin Hansen. I'm an elementary education major as well. My best piece of advice is keep your professional dress comfortable. However, when you have the option to dress professional or dress semi-formal, dress professional. It'll help you. It'll give you credibility. Just do it.
Hi, my name is Kira Willis, and I'm an elementary ed major, and my best piece of advice is listen to your students and ask them how your teaching is, because they'll be honest with you, and that's what you need.
I'm Rachel Hawsey. I am elementary ed K through 8 and minor in reading. My best advice would be building a connection with your students. What I mean by that is like that first time you walk into that school, it's not about you teaching them, but they're teaching you so many things you didn't know about yourself. Like when I think back to Practicum 1 to now, you have to have that mindset where they're also teaching you. So.
I'm Mika Murphy. I'm an elementary ed major, and my advice is fake it till you make it. You might not always know what you're doing when you're going into the classroom, but if you're confident, the kids will learn from you and listen to you.
I'm Brianna Anderson. I'm an elementary ed major too. And I would say make sure you like kids because that's your job. And honestly, it makes all the difference when you're in your classes learning too, because then you're thinking about them and how you can apply it and do the best for them always.
I'm Asha Crowther, and I am an early childhood ed major, which is preschool through 3rd grade. And my biggest piece of advice is to be an advocate for yourself and for your students, whether that be like learning about like different cultural backgrounds or learning about different mental health aspects. Always be the person to advocate for them and for yourself.
Hi, my name's Natalie Gates. I'm also elementary ed major and I'm minoring in reading. And I would say my biggest piece of advice is to just always come back to your foundation and why you're all here for a reason and a purpose, and trust yourself with that.
Hi, my name is Sarah McLean. I'm elementary ed major as well and minoring in reading. My biggest piece of advice is be a role model for your students. So whether that's modeling empathy, patience, respect, behave how you want your students to behave and they'll learn from you.
Thanks for starting on that. And my name is Colin Casimir. I'm majoring in elementary ed and I have an option in math. And my advice for you guys is bring gum to class. You make lots of friends. And start your text set before at least a week in advance.
All right, everybody, those were really great pieces of advice. There's some of those I think I'm going to take and ruminate on a little bit. I think they're going to be helpful for me too. Each of you have a copy of Catch and Release. This is a great book to read right as you're headed into student teaching. They're on the table behind all of you. Before you leave tonight, make sure you pick up your copy, and you can have the first one. I think they wanted to get one quick picture. And before they do, I want to let all of you know we're at the point of the semester where we are reading student journals. So our current student teachers who are out in the field right now are on week number 10. This is the first time the entire semester where I feel like the majority of our journals say, I know what I'm doing. I feel good. I feel confident. And that's okay. It takes time to build those relationships. It takes time to find your teacher voice. So my piece of advice for all of you, I have 4, but I'm going to narrow it down to 1. The one thing that I want all of you to take away tonight is I want you to seek progress, not perfection. You are all humans. You're going to be working with humans. This is not really clinical, sterile type work. It's messy, and it's hard, and it's fun. If you worry about being perfect, you will drive yourself crazy. Look at me and Joe. If we can make it, you can make it. All right, that's it. That's my simple piece of advice for you. Progress, not perfection, and you're going to do great. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Eubank. And, oh yeah, go ahead and do your picture.
And we gotta stand back up. Don't forget to grab your book. As folks are getting their books, I want to thank you all for attending tonight. These ceremonies are really important milestones, and going out to student teaching is a big deal. It's a huge milestone. Entering the teacher education program is a huge milestone. And for both groups, we cannot wait to see you cross that stage. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.